really care.
No fear of getting canceled.
No. I don't think there should be a fear of getting canceled.
I think it's dumb.
I think
I mean,
cancel culture is probably the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Comfortable this pot. Every time I'm like trying to fix myself, I get.
I'm just trying to make sure like I don't bump the microphone or anything.
No, you're good, bro. Honestly, trust me, I touch my microphone all the time. I'm weird. I have like what's it called? When you like OCD?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm the
So
same way.
bad. Like if it's like not angled right, I'm like, oh shoot, let me.
Mhm.
I don't know why. Like it all always sounds good no matter what.
I have to change it like sometimes throughout the pod, like it'll be like up or down, and it's just like I have to change it a certain time. I just get bored at it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I always just like mess with it, but I try not to because you can
it
kind of
picks
hear it when you
everything
do it, but
Mhm.
it's just I don't know. I just do it a lot.
Wait, as long as you don't touch this part, it doesn't really pick any of it
Yeah.
up.
I have so that new mic I actually just got for recording my music.
Yeah.
It's a small cube, but it has like a microphone around the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the weird thing is that you have to hold it in a very specific place for it to get good pitch.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause if you hold it an inch too close, all you're gonna hear is like the from your breath. If you
Yeah.
hold it too far away, it doesn't pick up.
Yeah, you could get a windscreen. That's what this is. So like it like
I think I'm going
suppresses it.
because
Yeah.
I think the microphone's called like Audio Go.
Audio go. Ours is
Audigo.
called Fee-Fine. I don't know. This was like what if you don't get like if you just want that like a desk one, it's like $40.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
not bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. We were actually pretty shocked, and I was just like, dude, I'm buying these mics. Like, we got to get this started. And
Yeah, it's a cheaper setup, but like it looks nice and they work very good.
yeah.
Like you can't really complain for the price we paid for it. So
Yeah.
Well, I've listened. Like you guys have really good audio, and I mean,
Thanks,
I
man.
don't
Yeah.
think you have to go overboard. At
Yeah,
least not
no,
yet.
for sure.
I mean, once you guys start blowing up, which I mean, I'm confident you will.
Yeah,
then
thank
maybe
you.
you move to a studio and all that.
yeah, I mean
I'm
our
excited. Trust me.
our first mics. Well, the first time we ever recorded, we tried with
Yeah, we have a couple.
just a random
stories.
computer. We just tried with our Mac. Obviously, that wasn't too good. What was
I
next?
still have the video.
The little ones. I
Yeah.
bought these like wireless
yeah.
mics that we just hooked up. Didn't work. It took us a while to figure out this because we didn't have these cables. So like, I'm pretty sure you can turn lights onto this if you
Yeah.
plug it in somewhere. But
Yeah,
like,
these do light up too. Like,
yeah, I think it would be nice lighting up, but I don't know how to
you have
even-
to. Basically, I'd have to get a USB
for
and
each
connect.
of them.
Yeah, and connect a
Then we'd
whole
have to
nother
get
wire.
another adapter for the computer and
Exactly.
everything like
Yep. But yeah, yeah. I'll do an intro here. What's going on, guys? This is January 13th episode. What is it? 12th or 13th? Tell me.
that. I don't know.
What's this Friday? 13th.
This Friday's 12th.
12th. All right, January 12th episode with Lucas. I don't even know what's your last name.
Myford, like
Myford?
Myford.
All right, yeah, Lucas Myford. Transfer from where?
Davis and Elkins College, in
Wow.
West Virginia.
WV. How'd you find out about Albright? What was the?
Well, I'm from here.
Oh,
so,
really?
like,
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Albright's 15 minutes from my house.
Oh shoot. So do you just
I
what's it,
commute. Yeah.
commute? Yeah. That's
It's a
nice.
sad life.
Honestly, I thought I was gonna hate commuting, because right out of when I was in high school, kind of going through the whole college search, I made it very clear to my parents like I'm not going anywhere close to home,
Yeah.
because I had this I just had this urge to kind of get away from my hometown,
Mm-hmm.
feeling like if I stayed put, I wasn't moving on with my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I traveled a lot in high school and I was involved in a lot. So I mean, I got my fair share of traveling in, like experiencing the world. But I mean, there's a deep rabbit hole I could go into about why I left Davis and Elkins. But I just kind of said, you know what, I'm in a rough place right now. I want to go home. I kind of want to be around family and get a fresh start. So I obviously knew about Albright. I had been there a couple of times. So I remember one day after a baseball game, I was really, really angry. And Colby, who's he's technically a freshman, but he's my age. I remember he told me he was playing there. And out of anger, I went up to my dad after a game and I just said, I am so angry. I'm leaving this school and I'm going to go to Albright to play baseball with Colby.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
day
Made it
later,
true.
I actually started to give it some serious thought and I was like, I think I should do that.
Yeah. So
I'd never heard of Albright before. Like, even
I don't
like
think I have. Well, I did because my brother had tournaments there for basketball.
I'd
But
never heard of it. Like, I grew up 20 minutes from there, and I'd never heard of Albright until like my senior year. Like I never heard of Albright, Alvernia, none of them. Never heard of them until I heard of Alvernia my senior year because we played there for summer ball. But like I'd never heard of Albright before until like senior year and all that.
Did you have like one school or two in mind that you were gonna go to, or is it just kind of like
There was this
up
like
in the air?
there was a I didn't have
You
one set
definitely did.
because I didn't even what's it called. I didn't start any like recruiting process till like the winter of my senior year because like I don't know. I just never really put too much thought into it because I never played travel ball or anything like that. So that was a downside. So like you don't get as much exposure. I think I went to one showcase total, and like I just wasn't thing. But there were a couple I had in mind, and it's just like Albright was probably the closest. And like at the point of like all that, like I was just like, okay, it's probably like it just seemed like a nicer campus. I enjoyed the coaching staff, everything like that. So at that point, I was like, yeah, I mean, why not?
I try to give people some perspective because unless you're going to a really big Division I school, I feel like everyone has complaints about their college.
Yeah.
I think Albright, especially for Division III, is awesome. I think they really do it right. I think the campus, the food is head and shoulders better than other schools I've been to. I mean, I've gone to one school, but I've toured and visited probably in the ballpark of about 50, 55 schools.
Wow.
Yeah. But the last school I was at, Davis and Elkins, without trashing them too much, but Albright's way better in terms of campus, in terms of food. I think in terms of how the professors relate to you and work with you and how they treat you. I think the student body is a little more. I mean, everyone's nicer, but they also kind of keep to themselves. I think West Virginia as a whole, and this can be a good and a bad thing, but everyone from there is very open about their views. They really try to force it down your throat. No, there's no subject that you can convince someone to believe otherwise. Anything. You go to West Virginia, I'm telling you, you can ask them ketchup or mustard. And if they say ketchup, you can fight tooth and nail, give them the best research. They're not going to say mustard.
Wow.
And I mean, in a lot of ways that's good, but in other ways it can kind of gnaw at you a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever gonna visit West Virginia. It's just not a state I've ever.
Yeah, it's
pictured
not. I didn't
myself
even
in.
really. I mean, you would almost think it's like not a state. You'd almost think it's just like a, it's like a part of normal Virginia. I've
Yeah.
actually been to West Virginia. I had to drive. I guess I drove through it to get to Virginia, but or is it? That's how it works, right?
It's
I'm trying to remember now.
So West Virginia is like southwest of Pennsylvania. Then
Yeah.
it's Maryland, and south of Maryland's Virginia.
Virginia, that's what it is. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I've been in West. I know I've been to Virginia because I went to Busch Gardens when I was younger, and I'm trying to think if I was even near West Virginia, but I don't know. I only visited when I was like looking to go to college. I visited 3 schools. I visited Westchester. I guess I technically visited Albright.
Yeah, didn't you go on a visit there?
Yeah, and then I visited Millersville. Those are the only 3 schools I visited, and I kind of narrowed it down. But then I wasn't a very good student at all, and I was probably bottom. If there's 200 classmates, I was probably bottom 175. But it's just because I didn't pay attention. I was just I was always trying to think about other things, and so I went to community college for a year, and I just worked full time. I didn't like it. I wanted that like kind of like you said, the student body. I kind of wanted that with college, and at community college I wasn't feeling it. So I don't know. I'm a very sociable guy, so
Yeah, I completely get it. And it was I mean, I'm not an overly sociable person. I mean, I love hanging out with like my teammates and my family and all that, but I'm not a person. I think we were talking about this with like relationships and stuff. I'm just not a person who feels the need to go out every night and just like be around a bunch of people. Sometimes 5-6 nights a week, I'm okay if I'm just sitting in my room watching a movie, gym, guitar, and just doing simple things. I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's just the way I'm wired.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't enjoy like a lot of time at college, especially now it's better because I have my own room, so I can just like go hang out by myself. But like I know like when you're in like freshman dorms and everything, you have to share it with someone. It's like you don't have that private time to yourself. Like you can't like say, oh, I'm gonna go back to my room and no one else is gonna be there. And I'm like I like being social and everything like that, hanging out with everyone, but it's like at the same time I don't necessarily enjoy 7 days a week hanging out with everyone. Like I'd rather have there's time where I can like hang out with people and then like where I just want to be alone. My social battery, depending on the day, my social battery is either really high or really low. When it's really low, I don't want to talk to anyone, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not gonna do
Yep.
anything. It's
Well, it's funny because like I said earlier, I was so committed to going, getting out of my hometown, even getting out of Pennsylvania to go to college, and so when I was touring and visiting a bunch of different schools, I got to talk to a lot of students, kind of ask them, what's life like here? And when I got to college, I mean, I really don't party that much, rarely, but I was like, I want to get out a little more when I go to college. So I was asking athletes, like, what's the weekend life like here? What do you guys usually do for fun? Do you work out together? Like, do you go anywhere? And I got a lot of mixed responses.
mm-hmm.
But the one funny thing I could tell was like the teams that had the best camaraderie and the best chemistry were always the ones that said we as a team do something all the time. And then I've been on teams and I've met guys on teams who say we don't do anything. We go to practice and we don't really talk to each other. And those were the guys who just seemed very bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like they didn't care about their teammate. And that, I don't know, that's something I can't have. Like we're spending hours a week together practicing. I feel like you have to have some sort of chemistry with your teammates.
Yeah, I think we definitely have that chemistry as a team because like we're always hanging like yes, there's groups of people that hang out, but at the end of the day, like we're all comfortable enough to come together and hang out with each other. Like we
Mhm.
obviously like we have lift and we have swimming and we have practice, games, everything like that. So it's not like we're spending a lot of time together, and then we also put in more time outside of practice where we're all like hanging out and like even if it's just like going over to someone's apartment and just sitting there hanging
Yep.
out, talking like that type of stuff. That's the stuff I think really builds a team, and I think we've started to trend in that direction. Like last year we there was I think there was like 10 of us as freshmen or maybe more. There was definitely more, I think. But like we we kind of all stayed together at the beginning. Like at the beginning it was only like the freshmen and then the rest of the team would hang out. And I mean it took like a week or so to like get like adapt to like college life.
Yeah.
So after that we kind of just started mixing in, and then by like midway through the fall semester we were all like a tighter group and we all were comfortable talking to each other and all that. And I think this year as a team we did a better job at getting everyone that was new like accompanied and like together right away.
Yeah.
Like
I agree.
it
100%.
felt like we all were together like that first night and like everything like that. Like I mean I wasn't there the first night. Obviously everyone was together, but it just seems like everyone's more comfortable now, and everyone got so much more comfortable faster than like last year and everything.
I agree with that. And I've been on, you know, I was on a team where it was like there were major cliques, and, if there'd be a group of three guys, another group of three guys, and they hated each other. It was like teams in a team. And when I was on, this is something I have huge regrets about, and it's also any advice I would give to a high school athlete right now. But I know there's a lot of people that work hard as an athlete and they say, I'm 100% about my craft. I'm 100% like I want to get to the next level. So much so that they shut out everyone else and they purposely try to separate themselves from the group and kind of be
Mhm.
that outlier. Don't do that. Obviously, if you're a dedicated athlete, like 100%, you got to work hard. You got to do things differently if you want to succeed. But if you go too far to the point where you have no friends and when people try to be your friend, you push them away, you're just going to be really miserable and unhappy. And you're kind of going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
It's like a big part of the team. Like you just have to. I remember like when I was growing up, like I don't play sports anymore, and I haven't since the beginning of high school. But when we played basketball, I didn't play for my school. I played for I guess you could call it. It's like I don't want to call it. It's like AAU almost. It's kind of
Mhm.
just like a rec league, and I would play for my church. And we had like a tight group of guys, and we go out there and lose or win, lose or draw, whatever. We would all just be happy at the end of the day. Like practice was fun, and we would always look forward to it. And we took it serious, but we also had our fun with it. And that's what I loved about baseball too. Is when I played baseball for first 10 years of my life, 11 years of my life. I loved baseball, and it wasn't because of the sport itself. It was because I just liked hanging out with everybody and going out there. I mean, obviously I loved playing, and I was a shortstop slash pitcher slash outfield. I played it all. And the only position that pissed me off was catcher. Hated being a catcher. And
You got to be dedicated to be a catcher.
yeah, for sure. And they threw me in there one game because I don't know if the kid was hurt or something, and I hated it. I couldn't I was calling random signs. I mean, nobody really knew how to throw anything, but I was throwing hey, throw this here, and it was the worst game of my life. But besides that, I would always just try to be, I mean, there's, some you're gonna find people on a team that don't like you, but
Yeah,
you just
100%.
gotta, honestly, if you just work through it and you just kind of ignore it or just try and show them who you are. That's the best part about sports. You can do that.
And you don't have to. I'm not saying you need to be best friends with everyone because it's not going to happen. We have 45 guys on the team.
No, we got 50 now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we got
It's crazy.
It's around 45 though. Yeah.
But obviously, you can try, but you're obviously not going to be best friends with everyone, and that's okay. But a mistake I made, and I've learned from it, is I would purposely try to push people away and not be their friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean I would never tell someone to do that now. As a matter of fact, I would tell them work as hard as you can, but still give respect to your teammates and let them know that they can view you as a teammate, as a friend, because if you have the more trust and chemistry you have on your team, I feel like the better you're going to be, because then you feel more comfortable to hold your teammates accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And if we all hated each other on the team, then we'd be rooting for everyone to fail, and we would just be a bad team. I've been on teams like that.
Pointing fingers and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not fun then at the end of the day because you guys aren't working together, and I've never really been a part of something like that. I feel like everybody I've played with has always been cool to me. Nobody's ever kind of been real rude to me or anything. But when you're a team and people just try to point fingers at you, you might have made a mistake one game and they all point the fingers at you. It's not a good feeling. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because when you fail and everything, you have to lean back on your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think there's time to put in your own work, and then there's time to be with teammates.
100%.
I've learned okay, hanging out with your teammates is great and everything, but there's also time where you have to set aside where you have to be able to say you can't hang out and you have to go get extra work. It just depends on your goals at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to go beyond college, obviously you have to put in that extra work. So you're not going to have as much time to sit down and hang out with your teammates all the time. At night, you have to do those extra reps and do all these other drills if you want something. And you can't just be satisfied with, I'm done at practice. I did a lift by myself. Now I'm going to go hang out with everyone. It's something you just have to decide at the end of the day what your actual, goal is with sports and everything. And, even then, if you're very focused and you want to go somewhere after college, you still can be, involved in social life. You can be, a great team at everything and still be tight with the team. You just have to utilize your time together as a team,
And
perfect.
I feel like I've really found a good balance with that, especially since coming to Albright, because we'll use today as an example. You and I threw upstairs in Shumo, and then we worked out. I had to go do some grocery shopping, and then came back and I hit with Colby and Carter, and then I had to do some homework for my online class, and then came here with you guys. So, I mean, I've definitely found a good balance because I have goals for myself and I have things I want to achieve. So I never let anything get in the way of that. But at the same time, I've also learned not to purposely push people away and say, they say, hey, you want to hang out? I don't go, you're not my friend, or I don't want to hang out with you, go away.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think I need to find a better balance because I seem what I've noticed for the first year and a half of college is I'm more of I'll do a decent amount of extra work outside of practice, but the majority of my time is just hanging out with friends or not doing anything beneficial. So I think what I've been trying to, especially over winter break, is be hold myself more accountable and actually focus on like baseball and everything to try to get better and everything like that while still having a social life with my friends. Like right now we go early morning, lift, throw, all that. And then like after, like I will do like different mobility and like that type of stuff. And then at night, like I'll still be able to hang out with Tyler and all my friends that are home still. So it's just finding a balance. And I think that's one thing I've struggled with, is trying to find that correct balance of work, friends, and just everything like that. And but being at college is just so much different because you're not on a set time schedule and you won't have anyone there saying you have to do this at this time. Other than classes and practices, like you're on your own. You have no parents there. You have no one saying, oh, you have to remember to do this. You have to do this. So it's just like you have to gain that independence and realize what your goals are and how you can achieve them and everything like that. And that's one thing that I've definitely not been able to do recently.
And I think something else that you need to have in order to do that is just kind of the willpower. And you have to be firm in yourself and kind of understand, like, all right, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to be in 5 years and 10 years? You have to keep that planted in the back of your mind. Just kind of say, I want to be a professional baseball player. Okay. And I want to play baseball for as long as I possibly can in a way that makes sense. So, I'm not sitting here saying I'm getting drafted next year, but I want to play the best I possibly can while it still makes sense. So at my last school, I had a long-term relationship that kind of ended because I had goals. I mean, I'd be on campus. I would go to the weight room every single day for at least 2 hours, and then I'd hit 4 or 5 times a week with my roommate. And then we'd have like team run practices and then player only practices. So we had a lot going. And then obviously I had schoolwork. Occasionally I would hang out with my teammates. And I remember she, she kept wanting more of my time. She wanted me to do more for her, but I just kind of said, I love you with all my heart and I really want this to work out. But at the same time, I can't give up everything I've worked my whole life for just for you. You kind of have to have that willpower to say, I have my goals. I know who I want to be. So this is the plan. If you don't like it, then I'm going to politely ask you to leave.
That's
Yeah.
my whole thing. So like me and him have never been in a relationship at all. And so, I'll be like looking for one and then I'm kind of like, and just the reason you just said is the exact reason that I'm scared, because I have so much in this life I want to do. And I have I'm just busy, and I am, and I try to open up and be less busy, but it's hard when you got a busy schedule. And so I feel like adding someone that I actually care about and I actually want to win with me, it's just hard because I want to focus on myself, and I want to I want to learn about myself more. I'm 19. I'm younger. I'm on the younger side, and I just want to know who I am and who I want to like. I have no idea. I know what I want to do, but like the future, you don't know what it holds.
100%.
And so it's hard to like want to drag someone. And I get it, like it's cool, but for me, I don't want to be selfish and not give them the time of day that they deserve. You know what I'm saying?
And when the right person comes along, they will work with what you want to do. I think that's a mistake I made. And I have been in. I would say I've been in one long-term, very serious relationship where like we talked about the idea of getting married, and then I've been in. Yeah. Wow.
It's awesome, dude.
I know.
That's good
That's
though,
a
man.
crazy
That's
subject.
awesome. Seriously.
And here's the thing though. So it's kind of, me and him were talking about this the other day, but when it comes to relationships, I'm the biggest do whatever you want. The only time I will say I think it's wrong is when you're lying to a person.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want a short term, even like open relationship, but you're honest with the girl up front and say that's what you want, I think that's perfectly fine. If she's okay with it, great. I'm just not wired that way.
That's where I
that's
get into trouble.
Yeah,
I
but
say it straight up, but
no, that's good.
If you say it honestly, you have to be prepared for them to say no. But if they say I'm cool with that, then go for it. Have fun.
I mean, I run into that problem where like I straight up like I will say like right away, first time hanging out, first time texting, everything like that. I'm like, this is what I want. This is what you're gonna get. You like it, good. We can hang out. You don't like it, I don't need you in my life. And it's like a lot. Everyone. I think there's been like the majority of people, they'll agree with it, right? Once it comes down to the decision of where I'm like, okay, like I'm still not going to give into a relationship, all of that, then it's all of a sudden my fault that like I have commitment issues and stuff like that. No, I straight up like it just that whole topic is just so frustrating
Yeah,
for me personally.
again, it's
It's hard.
complete. I don't think it's completely black and white.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, if you're being honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with
Mm-hmm.
it. The way I'm wired though is just, now that I've experienced what it feels like to truly be in love with someone, it's like I'm willing. And by the way, when it ended, I went through like 6 months of a really rough heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
So it's risky. You
Yeah.
know, right when I graduated high school is when we started texting, and then went on a few dates, and I think we were together for a year and a half. And I ended up, I broke things off, and it hurt for a while, obviously, but it's almost like it's a source of strength. It's like when you find the right woman and you decide you want to be in a committed monogamous relationship with her, and she's supportive of you, it's a source of power that I've never had before. But I mean, I learned lessons along the way. Like that relationship wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, nah, I always think everything happens for a reason, man. And so, whenever, if some girl was to cheat on, obviously I would be heartbroken. But, if she were to go out there and cheat on me or something were to happen and we would break up, you got to look at the positives and just be like, you know what, maybe we weren't meant to be. Maybe something else is going to happen for me. And, that's how I've always thought. I mean, I've never actually been in relationships. I've never had that heartbreak. And I'm probably
Mm-hmm.
speaking out of my ass here. But like that's just how I feel. Like I feel like if someone were to say I was in a year-long relationship, she were to cheat on me, I would obviously be very upset. But I know that like there's a deeper meaning on why, and I mean I just think everything happens for a reason.
Oh,
And
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and the one thing I will warn people about it is heartbreak changes you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it truly will change who you are as a person. I know it changed me. But it was all for the best, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it taught me to be more mature, more caring. I think it also taught me to like reach out to your friends more and see how they're
Yep.
doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never told anyone that I was like really heartbroken, but like I kept it all in. I was like, I got to go about my life. I still got to do things, but there'd be times I just felt a lot of pain and regret. I was like, maybe if I did this differently, or man, I was so stupid for this. But
Yeah.
That brings me back to it. Like, everything. Like, if that heartbreak were to never happen for you, you would never think like that. You
exactly.
know what I'm saying? So that brings me back. Like, you needed that eye opener, and it sucks because like obviously you had talks of getting married, and it's a huge it's a huge risk. As you said, like when you take that chance, but you guys splitting opened your eyes up a little more and said, hey, I need to be more mature. I need to, check on my friends. And without that, you would still not be doing that. So that's just how I look at relationship or anything that happens for a reason wise. Like,
Yeah.
I have no regrets about it at all,
Yeah.
honestly. I wouldn't.
that's good.
I mean, hindsight, obviously, I can look back at 100 different things and say, you shouldn't have said this, or maybe you should have said this. You should have like gone to see her at this time. But at the same time, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have learned important lessons without it.
Exactly.
So I kind of say I'm happy it happened. I'm happy for the good and the bad. So
That's just how you have to look at it. Like you can't live your life in regret because you're gonna get nowhere. Like if you're constantly like if you guys break up and you're constantly thinking about like I should have done this to make her stay or I should have done that, like what are you doing at that point? Like you're not bettering yourself. You're just digging yourself a deeper hole where it's gonna take even longer for you to get out of all of it. And like you got like so one thing I can't wrap my head around is like obviously I've never been in love, so I can't say I've been heartbroken. But like for me it seems like it's been so easy to like either like shut feelings off, lose them, like all of that. Like I can do it in like 10 minutes. Like if I like I can it's weird because like everyone says I don't believe me, but like if I like a girl for like one was like 6 months. It was like 6 months like everything like acted like a relationship, all of that. Right after like we decided like nothing was going to happen after 10 minutes and I was like okay, like I don't like her anymore. Like I know I don't like her. I don't need any recovery time. So that's just where I'm at is where I don't live in like the past because I'm not going to harp over something. If it ended for a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to continue to think about it because people like, okay, it's no shot at anyone that like has been heartbroken and everything. But like, I think differently, because if you get heartbroken, like you guys break up or something, I think the best thing to do is just get back out there instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, they took a while. Like, you can have like a few days. Like, I think like a couple hours, like maybe a day at most, is fine. But like at the end of the day, like most likely they're not coming back. And if they do come back, why take them back after they caused all that? So I'm just more of like, you progress forward with your life and try not to think about it. Obviously, things bundle up and it just like pours over and everything. But for me, it's just like I would rather get back out there, like do what I was doing before the relationship happened, rather than just sit there and think about like everything that just happened and all of that. Like, that's just my opinion, and it's what I've done. Even though I've never been in like that situation, there's been like situationships and all of that, and that's just what I found worked for me personally. Is just cutting it off right away.
Well, I think the kind of respond to that. So being able to turn your feelings on and off, or just kind of say, I'm not gonna fall too deep for this girl.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of comes from, I used to be like that a lot. Like, especially whenever I started relationships, I said, you know what, I can't really fall for her. I have to kind of keep my feelings back because I don't want to fall in love too quick and then it just not work out and I get hurt over that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what kind of causes a lot of people to be heartbroken, I think other people I know that have went through similar situations, is like they've been so closed off from everyone for so long, and then you kind of meet that person where it's like it takes a while but they finally get you to open up. You kind of let your guard down, but once you let your guard down and say, I'm gonna catch feelings for this girl and I'm really gonna fall for her, there's no going back.
Yeah.
You know, once you finally say like, and it's not even necessarily about getting married, but if you say, I love this girl and she's really, really good to me, I don't want to lose her, there's no going back. Once you make that choice, you can't shut your feelings off.
Yeah.
It's tough, yeah. I mean, I've been in different parts of my life where I'm into some girl, and we kind of, we hung out and did all this, and then it ended up not falling through, and I was pretty heartbroken over it. I won't say I've never been. I'm not gonna say I've been heartbroken because that we weren't really dating or anything, but there's been times in my life where I'm like, man, like what if, like the what if is kind of like even for you, a year and a half, what if it kept going? What if, and I say everything happens for a reason, just like I did earlier, but like, what if this were to happen? What if that were to happen? But you can't live in what ifs because, they're never going to happen. You just have to live in the moment. And that's my problem. I try and live in the past or the future. And I was actually just thinking about this today. I rarely live like in the present. I'm always looking forward to, like, let's just say Friday. I'm always looking forward to Saturday. I'm always looking forward to next Tuesday when I'm doing stuff. And I never just live in the moment. So that's one piece of advice if you're going to take any from a guy like me is just live now. Like, seriously, it'll change your life.
And I mean, I guess to circle it back to some more positive things. So when I think the one thing that really ended the heartbreak for me was like, I was thinking about what if I stayed with her, because I ended it.
Yep.
So I kind of think, well, what if I kept it going? Well, I know what would have happened. I would have had to given up baseball. I would have had to kind of eliminate a lot of the dreams and opportunities I had. I wasn't going to meet the friends I have now. I wasn't going to be the person I am now. And because, the biggest thing was, and I will say, when I talk about red flags, this is the number one red flag I have. The second a girl says to you, like, you need to marry me by 23 or I'm leaving you,
Whoa.
just leave right then and there.
She said that to you?
She said she wanted to be married. She's a year older than me. She wanted to be married. She wanted to get engaged when she was a senior and I'm a junior, which is right now. And then she wanted to get married once she graduated. Once they say you have to follow my plan of life or I'm leaving you, it may not be within a week, may not be within 2 weeks. It could be, 10 years down the road, you're married and it just comes to a crash and burn. But it will end once someone says that. Once ultimatums get thrown into the mix, one way or another, it's going to end. Because here's the way to think about it. This is kind of off topic of what I was going to say, but think of it like this. So male or female, if you give someone an ultimatum and, let's say I were to tell a girl, we need to get married by 23 or I'm leaving you. And she gives into that. She says, okay, I'm going to do that. Now in the back of my head, I'm thinking I can get her to do whatever I want with an ultimatum. And eventually there's going to come a time when she says no, and it's going to turn into a fight, and then you're both going to come to a realization like you weren't meant to be. You were just kind of following the lead of someone else without thinking about how you felt about it. You just loved them so much and didn't want to leave them that now you're just kind of giving in to all their demands, even though it could be bad for you. And eventually there's going to come a time where either your life is ruined or you say no, there's a huge fight, you can't get over it, and the relationship ends.
You gotta find, like we've already said, you have to find the balance. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone has their own goals. People that don't have goals aren't gonna be as successful. Like you said, about how she said getting married at 23.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something you can necessarily say because there's just so many events happening every day that
You can't put a timeline
No.
on. That's something
No.
that comes naturally. And she could have even mentioned that to you and been like, "Hey, I would like to get married at 23 while you're 22," and then you'd be like, "Oh, you keep that in the back of your mind." But the fact that she wanted you to drop everything and get
Yeah.
married, that's I've never even heard something like that.
no.
But no, if she were to say, "Hey, like, how would you feel about getting married when you're a junior and or when she graduates and you're a senior?" And stuff like, and want to be engaged right now, I guess. And maybe you put it in the back of your mind like, yo, maybe I will do that for her. And it's just kind of like, that's why you shouldn't really force anyone to do anything, because then if you let everything come naturally, you have a way better relationship than trying to like, hey, like, you have to do this, and she's
Mhm.
like, yo, you have to do this for me by this time, and flip flop. I mean, I've never been in a relationship, but that's just how I feel.
Like it's good to plan and all, but like when you're having to like tell someone exactly what you want and making them listen, it's like, is it really about both of you or is it just about one person?
Yeah, what I wanted was irrelevant to her, and that's kind of when I knew, all right, this has to end.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, at least you were able to notice that like, okay, this is like a major red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going to have to change or we're going to be over. Some people never notice that.
Mhm.
Like you can tell people over and over and over that there's like something you have a concern about. Some people just don't listen to anything like friends, family, anything has to say. And that's just like the people that in the end are either going to get hurt the most or by the slim chance it works out. Like you can only give so much advice to someone that doesn't want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just they're on their own after a while. Like you can't give
Yeah.
advice to someone that's never going to listen to you or ever consider it. Like they'll say they consider it, but they're going to be in the same situation the next day and the next day and the next day. They're never going to listen to anything anyone else says just cuz they know it's like not what they want to happen and not what they think is right. Obviously, at
Definitely.
the end of the day, they make their own decisions. You can't tell them what to do, but guiding them, giving your honest opinion, it works. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I wouldn't lead a friend in the wrong direction if I didn't truly believe it. Like, I'm not going to lie to someone and say, oh, I think this situation's perfect for you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you should continue it. If I don't think a relationship is good, I'm not going to be the first person to be like, oh, you need to break up right now. Like, you give it time, you like talk to them, you're like, okay, here's some concerns like that. At the end of the day, if they don't listen, like I could be totally wrong. Just because I'm not in the situation,
Mm-hmm.
if the relationship how we people see it versus how like the people in the relationship see it is two different things.
Oh
Some
yeah.
people obviously they're gonna have more feelings because they're actually dealing with each other, but like friends are more. They're able to hit the trigger and say, "Oh, you guys need to break up because of the fact that blah 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 blah." But sometimes it's like enough is enough and you should be able to rely on your friends to give you good advice. If not, or they're not really your friends if they're leading you in the wrong direction.
I think that's something guy I was rooming with my last school. He's still in a serious relationship right now, but me and him would always, talk about our relationships and, you know, bring up problems or something good to happen. And the one thing that we did a very good job about was we would never tell each other what we think the other one should do. So I would never tell him, you need to break up with your girlfriend or you need to marry her. He would come to me with something and I would just kind of give him my opinion. I would even tell him he was wrong sometimes, and I think that's, when you have a friend who tells you that you're wrong, I think you can trust them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying, they sit there and call you names and say, like, you're a freaking idiot, but if you have someone who's willing to sit there and tell you, you probably shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have said that. You know they're being completely honest with you. And that's important to have people outside a relationship. And you shouldn't spew the whole relationship to other people. But if there's like a small thing you want to talk about with someone, I think it's important to talk to someone you trust to get a outside perspective, because you need that sometimes.
Everyone needs that one friend that will be brutally honest.
Yes.
And that's usually the friend that's going to get hated on the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm brutally honest with all of my friends. Obviously, sometimes it's not the easiest to tell someone something, and they're not going to take it the right way every single time I say it. But at the end of the day, I can be like, okay, this is what I actually thought, and this is what I told them. So it's like,
Yeah.
there's never going to be a lie in there. Obviously, there's some things like you have to be like more cautious with saying, and like I totally get that. But like telling someone straight up, especially if they ask you for advice, is I think the best way to live life. But that's just
Yeah.
me.
I mean, being, going back to what you said, having that, you could say friend that answers all your questions and stuff, and that's just like, honestly, that's just like being a man, because if you look and I were to ask like tutor, hey, how do you feel about this and that, and he gave me his honest opinion. I mean, you don't have to take it, but I would rather have someone give me their honest opinion about like what I like, even if it was me doing something wrong. As you said, I would want to know like what I did and like what he thinks I should do to fix it, or if maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way and he sees that I'm looking at it the wrong way, and he can tell me, hey, you're looking at this way, and have maybe you should talk to her about this, or maybe you should talk to her about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
yeah, I like how
definitely
you brought that up.
it's definitely big to like go back and forth with friends talking about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't always just trust the judgment of yourself
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. Obviously, at the end of the day, you're making the decision. Your judgment's probably the best, but like talking to your friends about it. And I think one of the biggest things is like not allowing your friends to just out of nowhere say stuff. Like I think if
Yeah.
I don't think people should, like, you can talk to other people about it, whatever, like that's how you want to live your life, but I don't think you should force your opinion onto someone if they don't ask for it. Now, if someone comes up and asks you like, "Oh, what do you think about this situation? Like, can I get your advice?" But I don't think you should have to go to like a friend and say straight up like, "This is what you should do,"
Mm-hmm.
without them even asking for advice. Like, obviously people do that, and it's not in the moment it seems right to that person, but it's like it's just kind of like not the best way to handle a situation. Now, if you have concerns, that's a different story. But like if you're just going straight up to someone saying like this is what I think you should do, it's like
It's like demoralizing.
yeah.
I know
A
what you
little
mean.
bit. And you have to kind of, you also have to be careful, because depending on someone's situation or like what they've been through, what they're going through, that can also affect how you might support somebody. Because on our team, Colby,
Mm-hmm.
he the beginning of the fall, I was struggling a little bit, and I remember he was riding me bad, saying like, "You look." But here's the thing. So he he was really getting on my case about how I was playing, and being the type of friend he was, like, me and him have known each other for 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to see each other succeed. And in the moment, I did not like that he would come up to me and kind of hound me without me asking him for advice. But as I look back, I needed that.
Yeah.
So sometimes, you may not realize at the time, but like a friend, whether it's sports or just kind of something emotional in life or relationship, you can have a friend who genuinely wants to see you succeed and wants the best for you, and they can come up to you and say some pretty nasty stuff, but it's meant to hit you and kind of change the way you think and maybe change the way you perform.
That's what you need from teammates.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think overall at Albright we do a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
Barton, Colby, I think even you sometimes. Like, I feel like guys will yell at you, not yell at you, but kind of tell you what you don't want to hear in the moment, but you'll later realize I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Kind of needed to be pushed a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I get like saying like you can pull them aside. I think pulling someone aside and like straight up telling them something is better than embarrassing them by yelling at them.
Yeah.
Like coaches, like if they now I'm not gonna diss on any coaches because I don't think I've had like a coach that's like straight up just picked one player out and just totally torch them in front of the team.
Oh, I have.
And a lot of coaches, I've heard that there's a lot of coaches that do that, and I just don't think that's beneficial at all. Because one, you're calling them out in front of the team. Obviously, they're gonna be a little embarrassed. But like at the end of the day, you could be wrong. Either side could be wrong in the moment, and it's just gonna cause more. Now I get like if it's a whole team effort, it's multiple people. Like obviously, like you have to address it. But I think there's better ways than yelling as a whole team, like right and like singling someone out. Because especially if it's like a game-winning play, like there's so many things during that game that could have happened that wouldn't have even led to that play at the end actually mattering.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait, actually, Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you're right.
That
Yeah.
could have changed the course of the game.
Yeah, like
before that one play.
there's so many different things. Like in football, if you have 4 quarters to score, do whatever you need, it shouldn't come down to the last play all the time. Where like say like the running back fumbles it, it's not always on him because you had the 3 quarters and however much time before to focus and score as much. He makes one mistake, he gets destroyed by the whole fan base, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the rest of the plays that weren't made the whole game? You have to look back at it like, especially if you're in that position, like you gave up the game winning, whatever. Like in the moment, you're going to feel like shit. But at the end of the day, it's like nobody else on the team really did their job if you're down to the end. Like it's just, I
That
don't know.
that brings me back to a tournament I had. I think summer after my sophomore year of high school. We played 3 games in a single day, and we had a night game that was like the semifinal
Mm-hmm.
to send us to the championship. And we had a really good back and forth game. And I think I actually pretty sure I hit a home run to like tie it in like the 5th or something. But we get to the 7th inning, and I'm in right field, and I remember line drive gets hit to me, and I think there's 1 out, and there's a guy standing on third base, but the line drive's shallow enough to where if I catch it, I could probably keep him from scoring, maybe. The ball got hit, went directly into the lights, and it went over my head. We lost the game. I don't think, I mean, I usually keep my emotions in check. After the game, I yelled out all the curse words in the book, and then I got in the car and I was just bawling my eyes out because I was so upset.
It's the worst, bro.
Yeah, we actually stopped to get food. I remember this, and my dad was ordering, and he kept asking me what I wanted, and I couldn't stop crying enough to even tell him because I was that upset about the game.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, when you're passionate about something, like, I understand.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, now, crying probably wasn't the best course of action, but I mean, I am just that way. It's like I cared so much, and I really want us to win. And I didn't have teammates that like, I had a few teammates that said something to me, like, what are you doing? But the coach wasn't like screaming at me or anything. But I felt like I let the team down, and then just kind of went crazy on the ride home.
Yeah, you just have to look past it though, because you can't replay it obviously. So why not just look forward? Like you're gonna beat yourself up. Everyone beats themselves up, and I wish one thing I hope for is like I wish we were allowed to show more emotion, like during
Yeah.
games, everything. I wish umpires would be more lenient with showing emotion because you do something right, you should be able to celebrate. Like if you strike someone out, like you should be able to scream like all that, but like you're not allowed to because you're just bundled up and all the umpires are like, oh, that's a warning, like that type of thing. Like we're old enough to be like, if it really offends you that much, get better. Like if a pitcher strikes you out and he's like screaming, like doing some celebration, and you're getting mad by that, maybe you should take all of that anger into the gym and get better, or take more swings, like that type of stuff. But it just seems like nowadays you're not allowed to do anything without getting penalized for it. Especially like you see like in the one, what was it? It was one of the college games like the past couple of years. You have to. The one guy was, he striked someone out, looked at him, and
Oh yeah, I remember.
and
that.
he got like tossed or something like that.
He got taught. Yeah, I think he was saying like "f you" or something.
Yeah,
And was like calling them names on his way back to the dugout.
I think it's acceptable. Obviously, to a certain extent, you can't be doing it the whole time. But like I think that to a certain extent, you should be able to show emotion. Like Joe Kelly, when he struck out he struck out one of the Astros and made that face at, it was Carlos Correa. Yeah, he made that face. He got suspended and a fine for it. I'm pretty sure.
That's excessive. Yeah.
Like, why are you penalizing him for showing emotion? because the emotion is what's going to make the game better, and it's going to bring more fans in. The more you take away emotion, the less interesting baseball becomes, and it's all for all sports, like celebrations and everything. In football, like you can't celebrate certain ways as you could before. But I think before, if you allow all these celebrations, like the game's getting more interesting, more people are going to tune in and watch, which leads to money, which is obviously
I actually love. I've been in plenty of high school games and college games where you have fans saying some pretty nasty things to you while you're playing. I think it's the most exciting thing to hear them talk trash and then you do something big and kind of let
Yeah.
them know.
yeah.
Because I remember my senior year of high school, we were in the semifinals to go to the state championship game, and I don't remember we were playing at DeSales University, but I don't remember what high school we were playing. And the student section was saying some they were saying some things to me. I'm honestly surprised police officers didn't show up and arrest them.
Wow.
They were saying some nasty things to me, like they were calling me fat. Some of them were saying like, "I'm gonna go see your mom. I'm
Yeah, that's some.
I'm gonna do this to your sister. I don't have a sister,
Wow.
but like they said all these things, and I ended up hitting a walk off at the end of the game. And I remember two guys in particular were saying some pretty bad things. I knew where they were sitting. I took my helmet off and I looked right at them and just kind of held it. I wasn't screaming. I just stood completely still. And right before everyone came to tackle me, I waved goodbye at them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's more me. I'm more of like a subtle bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
And then all my teammates were like waving at them and screaming. I think that's great for the game. It's great for
Yeah.
sports.
I had a similar moment my senior year. It was a senior night, and we had some like it was some
This is the sword, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the kids slid into our second baseman, and there were some words exchanged. Like the kid literally called our second baseman, like he called him like fat or something like that, and told him to go eat cheeseburger or something. And like obviously we found out about it, and so it was by random. So I didn't realize it until after the game, but uh the next inning I think he came up again, and I struck him out to like what the sword is. So I pointed at him and I sworded him, and like he got so mad, but he can't say anything at that point. Like he made a comment, he got payback. You can't say anything, and I
Yeah.
think that's what makes the game so much more interesting. And like I like being cocky during summer ball. The one game I was obviously a little too cocky, but like I would like nobody was hitting anything. So I'm like sitting out there calling pitches. And like the umpire, like obviously he got a little mad, and he comes out and he's like, "You trying to like make a joke of the game?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just like giving them a heads up of what they should be expecting, because they weren't hitting it anyway." I see the problem with that, but again, it makes it more interesting.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything wrong with that though. I think a little bit of trash talk, fans cheering stuff. I do think there's a point to where it goes too far. But I think, a little bit of trash talking, showing emotion is kind of what gets people excited.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Now,
had, or no, go ahead.
oh, sorry, I was just going to say,
No,
like,
you're good.
I do understand why coaches want you to kind of keep your emotions at bay. Because when you're playing a long season in college and you get really upset and you're throwing your gear and you're screaming curse words and you can't control yourself after one failure, that's a huge indicator that it's going to snowball and you're just going to keep making mistakes. So I understand why they want to keep your emotions in check. I just think we kind of have to find that happy medium of you can show emotion, but you have to be able to control yourself enough to where if you strike out, you're not going to let it snowball into an error and then you strike out again and now it's like there's no going back.
You have to limit
Yeah.
it to a short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't have such excessive emotion. Like I think like you strike out, you can yell like something, like you hit your bat once and then it's over with.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just continue it as you go back to the dugout. You don't like slam your stuff all like that.
Right.
I get you're mad. Like you see it in the pros all the time, but like we're not pros. We're college athletes and high school athletes, all of that. I think you need to be able to have that, like you said, the medium of controlling your emotions and also having the time where you can show it. And it's just like there's a difference, because like if you're doing something bad and you're showing that like you're mad, it's gonna affect the rest of your game. I think you get like 5 seconds to like really let it out, and then it's over. Like I don't think you should continue it all the way back. Like I don't think there's a point of people coming back throwing their helmets, going behind our like the dugouts and everything, and like screaming. Like there's no point of screaming in the dugout. It's just showing how much you can't control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously for everyone it's different. Some people don't know how to control themselves. Some people are better at it. Like it's just like trying to find what works and how to actually control yourself.
Yeah, nah, because I remember, so when I was younger and I was on that basketball team, we were down by 2, and there was a play drawn up. So I wasn't the greatest scorer on the team. I was kind of just the point guard, and he wanted me to give it to my buddy Kyle, who was miles above me. And I kind of told Kyle, like, just trust me. Let's do a fake play. And it's actually the coach. And so it was an inbound play at half court, and I took it and I shot it from, like, I mean, I'm talking Curry range. Like, I chucked it up, and as the buzzer sounded, it banked off the glass, and we won the game. And that was the only. I mean, that's the only game winner I've ever hit in my life. And like, I looked at the coach and just kind of put my arms up, and I know it wasn't the right thing to do, but I was like, man, we've lost a couple games in a row now. Like, let's just try and win. Like, I'm not trying to go to overtime. But yeah, that was probably one of the best days of my life. Just the high you get after that is like, I mean, the whole team screaming, running on the court, and it was a tournament, so it kept us alive, and it's just one of the best feelings ever. But going towards that, have you ever had like a bad injury that you get like really mad about?
Yeah, I mean, okay, really bad injury, maybe not, but I had an injury my senior year that kept me out my entire season.
Mm-hmm.
I had a bone contusion on my hamate bone in my wrist. So the second preseason game we had, I think a week before our season started, I had pain in it for like 2 weeks. And then finally in that game, I swung and it's like my left wrist snapped really hard, and I fouled the ball off, and just like this really bad pain went through my whole hand. Couldn't move it. So I ended up getting an MRI. I went to 3 different doctors who told me 3 different things. And because it wasn't broken, they just said, you got to rest it. Like, we literally can't do anything. You got to rest. And I think what made that process so frustrating is obviously I wanted to play. It was my senior year. I was really, really upset. But the other problem was everyone thought I was either faking it or I should have been able to play.
Yep.
Because if they don't see like a limb snap or you don't have to get surgery for it, no one believes it's a real injury.
Yeah.
But I wore a brace, was out 2 months, and I was able to come back for the last 2 games of the playoffs.
You said that was your senior year?
My senior year of high school.
Do you remember what team it was against?
What team I got hurt against?
Yeah. Was it at your field?
It was at our field, yeah.
What high school did you go to?
Ole Valley.
Dude, I'm almost
Did you play
positive
them?
that happened in our scrimmage.
It might have
We
been.
we scrimmaged you guys, your senior and my senior
Where
year.
did you go?
Garden Spot.
Very well could have been.
So we played, like, that's crazy though. But we did play you. We always scrimmaged Ole Valley. Both.
Are you telling me you threw the pitch that got me hurt?
Maybe.
It's very close.
Very possible.
Was it
dude.
if it was at the
Very
beginning of the game, you batted at the beginning of the
Yeah,
order.
at the beginning.
It was very. I think I know exactly what it was too.
Wow. Okay.
A sinker?
No, it was just
It
a
was
fastball.
high. It
was
was like
high.
It was just
chest
a
high.
fastball. So what?
No
what was
way,
it?
man.
It hit you?
No, it didn't hit me. So I mean, it was injured already.
Yeah.
But that was just like the final breaking point because I went to go swing, and my left wrist just snapped really hard, too far, and that's what kind of bruised it because obviously I'm holding onto a knob and it jammed back into my wrist and hit the hamate bone. And when they did the MRI, it was like all my bones were white and the hamate bone was solid black.
Wow.
But and this kind of made it frustrating. So they basically said that it was bruised enough that it didn't break, but they basically said if you were to blow on it, it would probably break. Like it's contused enough to where it's not going to break. But if it would have broken, it would have healed faster because they would have done surgery. Your body, I guess, realizes there's an injury and it'll heal faster because it wasn't broken. I had to wear a brace and ice it and basically just not do anything in my hand for 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm almost 99% sure that was when you played us.
Thanks a lot.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. I remember that because for some reason I can picture it, and I know we were playing you guys in that game because I remember like how it went down and everything like that.
I don't remember. I left like in the 3rd inning and had to go to the doctor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm almost positive like that was our team. I mean, obviously it was a long time ago. I could be wrong, but I know we played you guys. We always scrimmaged you guys.
Yeah.
And your senior year, I would have been
Junior, yeah.
Yeah, and I would have started the scrimmage. I
Yeah,
did
'cause you
start
would
the
have just
scrimmage
been
against
like-
Ole Valley both years. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will say one thing I will always be grateful for Davis and Elkins was if the coach there didn't recruit me, I probably wouldn't be playing college baseball
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, I'm not making it out to I wasn't an overly good player in high school. Like I was pretty good, but I wasn't great. I went to like 50, 55 different schools, went to tons and tons of showcases. Some I was invited to, some they were just like ads and I said I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I had 4 schools that were showing strong interest. COVID hit, they went away. I had 2 coaches, I won't say where, but I had one situation where the assistant coach was the prime recruiter for me. And he texted me and he said he was leaving his school to go take a head coaching job somewhere else, and that school fell apart. Had another school um, that the coach seemed really interested in me. It was a Division 3 school. Um, I went out for an official visit and I was going to talk to him. He got COVID. So he said, I can't be with you on your visit, but I still want to talk to you about coming to play for us. Can you come back for this showcase we're having the next weekend? So I said, yeah, okay, because I really wanted to go to school there. So I went out for my visit, came back home, went back out, did the showcase. I felt like I did really well. I was better than the last time he saw me. I go up after the game to talk to him, and he wouldn't. I think he said a total of 3 words to me. I straight up asked him, can we go somewhere? Can we talk? Did you see anything about my performance? I was trying to stir up a conversation. He wasn't talking to anyone. He said he wanted to talk to me, and he just kept saying, yeah, well, have a safe ride home. Good luck this year. Yeah.
Wow. Hmm.
Yeah. And
Wow.
I left, and my mom and dad were furious because they were like, well, this was a waste of time. I was breaking down. I was really, really upset because I felt like my dream of playing college baseball was over. I had
Mm-hmm.
nowhere else to go. And then Davis and Elkins popped up, and he still wanted me despite my injury, despite the fact that we lost our junior year. So I got to thank that school for getting my foot in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. It's a blessing in disguise. I say it all the
Mhm.
time. But going back to the injury, so it was kind of. I mean, it's kind of like my senior year because for this AAU you can only play till ninth grade.
Mhm.
And, it's my freshman year, and I was like, you know what, I just want to end off because I wasn't going to play for my school. I was like, this is it. And about 2 or 3 games in, we're actually playing, we're playing a team that is kind of assembled from, different schools because of just the area. And it was like LS almost. It was like that district. The kid that actually did it played for LS. Um, so I was going out of bounds for a ball. It was dead, and I was just running to go grab it, and the kid came up and shoved me, and so I fell on my stomach, and he fell on this foot. But if you lay on your stomach, your foot's standing straight up. He
Yeah.
crushed my foot,
Ooh.
so my big toe touched right here, so it
Wow.
collapsed. So I got up and I stay in the I'm fine. He got. I mean, I was a bit of a hothead, so when he tried to help me up, I slapped his hand away and I said a few things I probably shouldn't have said. But I got up. I was kind of walking. I'm like, man, this kind of hurts, but let's go. Maybe I just, maybe it's just a bruise. So I stay in. I go to shoot. It was actually a corner 3. I was wide open and I couldn't jump. I jumped off one leg and I ended up missing it. And I tried to run down the court and I couldn't run. I'm like, what's going on, dude? And so my coach calls a timeout after they scored, and I took off my shoe, and mid play actually I chucked my shoe at the bench, and it went in the middle of the court, and I got tossed. So I got ejected after I got hurt. So I'm in the locker room, I'm really angry at this kid, and I wanted to just hurt him because I knew I was done after that. I knew when I couldn't walk or anything. So I actually didn't get it checked out for like 5 days.
Mhm.
I was walking on the side of my foot, just kind of hobbling. I was like, man, this has to just be a sprain. Finally ended up going, and so my growth plate here and 3 of my toes were broken, just
Was your
completely.
foot like really deformed, or did it look
It
okay
just
after the
it was
play?
just puffy,
Mm.
it was black and blue, and I was like, maybe it's just a bruise, but not. It wasn't a clean break. They were just fractured. It went small, bigger, bigger, and then when the growth plate, I mean, that thing was almost completely snapped, and me walking on it probably didn't help, and so I was out for the season after that, and I was upset because I was like, man, that was it. Like that was the last ever basketball game I really played in then,
Yeah.
and just to go out like that wasn't my favorite thing to do, but I still went to some of the games. I almost actually came back for the last game, but I didn't get cleared in time, so I was like warming up in a boot. I was just doing layup lines in a boot, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just there having fun, kind of like helping coach and stuff. But no, it was a lot of fun, even though I didn't get to play. But I did. I wish I got to play because I love that team. And like every year, you'd get new kids, like because it was 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Right.
And so every year, you'd like my brother was on my team then, so it was hard just not being able to play with him. And but it was fun for what it was, and I just tried to make the best of it after kind of being out the whole season. But
Injury, yeah. I mean, the best advice I can give to anyone is going through an injury or has had an injury is like that's kind of tying back to what we said. That's a moment where you really have to be feeling in the moment.
mm-hmm.
Because I mean, that was my senior year. That was the first time I ever had an injury that kept me from playing sports for a while. I mean, I've dealt with a few minor things before, but it was stuff like, okay, I missed one day. I wear a support or something, I can play through it till it heals. But yeah, I mean, missing my entire senior season was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember I was so desperate to come back. I think 3 weeks after the injury, because a doctor never really gave me a timeline to when I could come back. They just kind of said rest, and when it feels better, play. And I remember my hand still hurt, but I was like, no, I think I can play. So I took batting practice one day, and my hand was throbbing really, really bad. I couldn't squeeze it, couldn't grip it. It felt like the first day it happened. And I probably, I should have come back sooner, but I mean, that probably ruined my progress, and I had to start all over.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah,
So,
you just gotta take time with it. That's how I feel. I feel like I messed it up. I feel like I probably could have played the last couple games of the season if I wasn't walking on it for a week, trying to, not face reality. I was trying to just kind of. I knew something was wrong because I would be taking. I mean, it was hurting bad. I just kind of like was just hope I was wrapping it, and I was hoping it would just go away. But yeah, I was trying not to face reality, and I ended up having to face reality and just understand that that's what happened, and I had to move on and just kind of play it day by day. And I was actually in school. I had a cast on for about 10 weeks, and I was walking around on a peg leg.
Really?
Yeah, like it was. Remember Brendan?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually my buddy broke his foot or shin or something, and he was using it. And then like a week after he got his off, I broke mine, so I was using like a leg to get around on school instead of crutches. And then I had a walking boot, but I would barely wear that too. I just, I don't know. I never really was like, I never am like, how do you say that? I never get like scared of injuries. I'm just kind of, and if they happen, they happen. I never was like, I have one where I felt, the picture of me falling off my bike.
Mm-hmm.
I was coming down this hill in my neighborhood, and I didn't have any hands on my bike because I was just kind of like just sitting there, and I hit the wrong rock. I mean, next thing I knew, I was being woken up. I was probably in the middle of the street for like 20 minutes, like blacked out because my helmet actually cracked in half.
Oh.
And funny thing is I never wore my helmet, and for some reason, that day, I had it on. I never wore my helmet, and just for some odd reason that day, I was like, I'm wearing my helmet today, and luckily I did, or I honestly would probably be dead. I mean, I flipped over. Well, from what I know, I don't remember anything. I flipped over, like I hit the rock, my bike stopped, and I flipped over, and I broke my wrists were like this. This one was just fractured. This one was completely broken off. Like, I mean, my hand was that way if you put it straight. Like, it was disgusting. And then this whole side of my face just completely ripped off. It was from road burn.
I was my dad would never let me do anything that was even remotely dangerous for the majority of my life because he would
Yeah.
always say, you don't want to get hurt for the important stuff,
No, it's true.
because I played baseball and basketball all the way up until high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of kept going with that when I got into high school. I was like, I don't want to do anything because it's going to mess up sports. And I've loosened up now, but I still say I play it relatively safe. I don't go bungee jumping or skydiving. I don't do anything too crazy. I don't have any desire to, but yeah, I mean, I just always get scared because especially while I'm playing baseball, I feel like that would be really stupid to say, I went bungee jumping, or I was hanging out with the guys and I decided to like jump off a cliff into a lake, and when I landed, my foot hit a rock or something, and now I can't play baseball anymore.
Yeah, it's tough because if you're gonna get injured, you got to get injured playing the sport. Just doing what you love instead of doing something dumb, kind of like I did. But yeah, like when I broke my foot, I was content with it. I was like, you know what, I did it. There's nothing I could have done to stop it. But like when I fell off my bike, I was like, man, I could have had my hands on the handlebars and stuff. I could have, there's a lot I could have done. But I mean, I was young and I was dumb, and I got 2 weeks off of school for it, so. I couldn't go into school looking like that. I was
Got to see the silver
pretty beat
lining
up.
and everything.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was kind of the day where I actually like, I don't want to say started believing in God, but that was like a real eye opener. I was young. This is 10 years ago now. And some like just telling me to put my helmet on that day. Like, so I don't know what it was. And it kind of just opened my eyes. And that was the day. Like, I was like, man, you know what? I'm starting to really believe in him, and that was kind of my eye opener to just be more close with him. And so I'm still not as close as I could be with him, but yeah, that was definitely a defining day where I was like, man, something told me to keep my helmet on.
I've definitely unless someone asks, I really don't talk about it all that much, but I'm I'm very committed to the Christian faith,
it's
and
awesome.
I was raised that way. Kind of got away from it for a while, but prayed, read the Bible. When I was like 16 or 17 was when I had kind of my big I need to come back to God moment, because I had some rough moments, like summer after my junior year going into the fall of my senior year. Like there was some rough stuff going on, but I just kind of said, I'm going to turn to my faith, and it really helped. And I'm very private about it, but
Yeah.
I've had plenty of moments in my life where I'm just saying there is proof, because and one moment was like, it was so strange. I the summer after I left Davis and Elkins this past summer, like I was sitting, I don't want to say I was sitting in it, but I felt really disappointed for a while, because I felt like I had the world in front of me when I went to D&E. Felt like, baseball is going to be great. I'm going to get a career opportunity, going to have a girlfriend. All of it fell apart. And I was praying a lot, and I was really thinking about it. Once I got to Albright and really started to live in the now, kind of kept thinking, you know what, I need to get past that point. I really need to concentrate on what's at Albright. Once I got to that point, it was like everything started going good for me. Like, got close with the team. Baseball was going better. I won't call her out, but she know who she is. I started talking to this other girl. Yeah, you know. But yeah,
That's good though, man. That's good.
yeah. I have a girl I'm talking with right now. She's awesome.
That's amazing, bro. Hey, man, from me and him to you, that's amazing, because we're in a drought right now, bro. Well, maybe not so much him as me.
I'm not in
But,
a drought right now.
yeah.
I just don't like
won't,
it.
I won't call you out, but we were talking about stuff.
Yeah. No, that's good. What's wrong with that?
I'm so glad you don't call me out, because
No, he's not. I'm not gonna call you out either.
No, I'm glad neither of you are gonna call
I would
me
never
out.
do that. It's private.
That's on you.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I'll talk. I mean, it ties into everything we've been talking about, but like, in the last 2 months, I feel like I've just seen signs that there is someone who's watching out for us. And one of the things I believe in is like God helps those who helps themselves. And anyone who kind of questions like religion or faith at all is like, you can't just sit back and pray and think everything's going to happen. You have to take action, and he's going to help you along the way. And I feel like I've definitely learned that lesson, because I mean, at this 6 months ago, I felt like everything was going wrong. And now it's like, got a girl I'm talking to, awesome. Getting along really well with the baseball team. Feel like we have a great season in front of us. Been training super hard, been playing guitar and recording some music. So it's like,
good.
You just got to believe, like, all the bad things that happen, they happen for a reason. It's setting you up for something.
That's what I mean. If everything was good, nothing would ever be good enough,
Exactly.
So I'm glad, like, every time I fail or I make a stupid decision or I do something dumb, I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I made that choice. how can I better that choice, and what can come from learning. And I believe that, like, I mean, obviously it's corny, but every failure is like a lesson, and you just have to kind of look at it and be like, hey, I failed here, I did this, I did that wrong, but how can I fix it for next time, kind of like you said, and just be better, and definitely what you were saying about just hearing that calling. You're not going to hear, you're not, every prayer you ask for is not going to come true, because I could go out, pray for $1 million, I could pray for this, I could pray for that, it's not going to come true, but the ones that are meant to come true will, and so that's how I've always looked at it. I mean, I've strayed away from God. I've gone as far as like not even believing in him, and just there's been some eye openers, especially these past 2 years, with starting this thing, and everything that I've kind of wanted to happen. I mean, besides, obviously I would want to be in college right now, but it didn't happen, and it's probably for a good reason. I'm probably not built for that life, but I just look at it as a blessing, and everything
Definitely.
that I've done, I just kind of look back on, and I realize like maybe it was meant to be this way.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I think a big issue a lot of people have nowadays is people are just getting increasingly more lazy, more arrogant. So it's like they'll have a failure and they'll quit and they'll just blame everyone else.
hmm
And and they'll just say, "Oh, God's not real. Why is everyone out to get me?" They're waking up with this negative mentality. And you know, you're doing this to yourself. Like, I mean, I've had conversations with people where they say something bad happened to them, and because of that, now they think the whole world's out to get them, and they even believe there's a God who's out to hurt them. And I say to them, like, think about your life right now. Think about all the good that's come from this bad event. But also, whatever situation you're in, you have to understand that if you just sit back and complain and you say, let's say you're broke and you want to be rich, but you're just sitting in your house complaining about being broke, like, money doesn't fall from the sky. Like, how are you going to achieve your goals if you're not trying your best to achieve it?
Yep, you gotta take action for
Yeah.
sure.
And I mean, what do they always say? There's no light without dark.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
So whatever your goals are, if you're expecting it to be easy, not only does it not work that way, but how do you expect to enjoy it?
Exactly.
If you were born into a family that has $1 billion and all this success and you never had to work for anything, you're never going to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never enjoy the yacht in your backyard, or the
Yeah.
pool in your backyard, or the balcony you wake up on. Like, that's why it's cool, That's why I'm actually starting to do this pod. I was we had a dream kind of in class. We would talk about it. We had a couple classes together, and I don't know. I always liked the internet. I always liked talking. So I was like, you know what? I feel like a podcast would be good. And a lot of people were telling us, we couldn't do it. And honestly, that was like putting me down. And I just was like, you know what? They're probably right. Like, I probably shouldn't start this. I shouldn't even try. And then all of a sudden, this past summer, it just kind of clicked with me. I said, you know what? I'm done caring what people think. I'm done, and I'm just going to try and do my best. And my best ain't it, at least I tried.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely hard sometimes when I look at it and I'm like, man, why didn't this one get 100 views? Why didn't this one get 1,000 views? Why didn't this one get 100 likes? But I love that, because that's the beauty in growing. So when I do see that 1,000 views for the first time, when I do see that 100,000 views for the first time, when I see that million subscriber, whatever ends up happening, it means a lot more to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I had a million tomorrow, it wouldn't really mean much. Like, if I just got gifted a million subscribers tomorrow, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm glad my dream came true, but I didn't work for it.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
And that's the other reason why, because like, because right now I'm practicing. I would say I'm new to guitar. I've been practicing seriously for about a year, and I've been practicing singing for about a year too. Like, I didn't come from a music family. It was pretty much a year ago I decided I want to take guitar seriously. I want to actually get better at it, get better at singing, write some of my own music, because I've always wanted to do it. But my life has been all about sports, so I never really thought about it. But whenever my friends are doing something big and kind of abnormal, starting a podcast, or our buddy who has a lifting page, I just try to give you guys as much hype as possible, because I
Mm-hmm.
understand what that's like
hmm
to go after something that is new and everyone says you can't do it or it's stupid, you're going to fail. If you truly believe in your heart, whatever you're doing, that you can succeed in it, you're going to try your best, and then when you succeed, you're going to use your platform and your journey to help others. You're gonna make it. And that's why I kind of say, like, I get what you guys are doing right now. Like, it's a big step. If you guys love it, like, I think anyone who's a friend should be hyping you up and giving you as much praise to try to get you out there, because you you don't want to be that guy that was hating on them and then all of a sudden they turn out to be a big deal and now you feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a way of life, you know. I mean, there's been some friends around me that they don't say much. They'll say what they got to say about my podcast, and I actually started just like laughing at it, and it's just funny because I love everyone. I don't have any hatred toward anyone. I mean, if you don't like my podcast, what am I gonna say? I started this for me, and I started this for him, and we kind of just came together and finally did it. And that's all that matters to me. I mean, I could sit at 77 subscribers forever, and would I be happy? Probably not, but I'd be happy doing my thing. So obviously I want millions of people to hear this because I feel like I have a lot to say, and I feel like we're both interesting, and all the guests we've kind of been just putting together. We're kind of working at this like we've been doing this, and we've only been doing this. I look back, and I'm like, we've only been doing this for 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
We've only been doing this for 5 months. This will be our 12th or 13th episode out, and I look and I'm like, by the end of this year, we'll have around 70 episodes out.
That's crazy.
So if we keep posting a week, like once a week, there's 51 more weeks in this year. We'll have 51 more episodes plus the 13 we have out. We'll have like 70 by the end of this year, theoretically. And I just look forward to that because I love doing these, and I could sit on here for hours and do them. Obviously, I have to cut them off, or I'll be here forever. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun, and I just tell everyone, do what you love, and don't let anyone tell you what to do, because it's a lot of fun just doing what you want to do. So
and then on the flip side of things, it's like you also, if you find people around you who really support you, even some of like the craziest and wildest dreams that you have, you got to keep them around, because I mean those are special people. It like my kind of crazy abnormal thing I'm doing right now is guitar and singing. And I mean my family backs me 100%. And they love it. I talk to them about my writing, my singing, trying to get better. But the one moment I knew with this girl I'm talking to right now, when I was like, you know what, I think I got to keep her around for a while, is when I sent her a demo of a song I was playing, and she just said, "Oh, it sounds really good." And I was like, "It doesn't sound good. You're saying that because you want to support me." And then we were talking about like singing and stuff because she's a really good singer. And I said, "Oh, I've been practicing, but I'm trying to get better. I don't think I'm very good right now." And she said, "Well, I'll help you." And that moment, I was like, that's the kind of person I need to have in my life. That's the kind of people we all need. Someone who's going to say, "Oh, you're doing something big. Let me help you. Let me support you."
When you can combine dreams and grow together, that's the best thing possible.
That's huge in life with everyone, family, friends, relationships.
even if she's not like, that might not be her dream singing, but to see her, kind of want to see you succeed before she does, I mean, that's special. So yeah,
it's huge.
whoever you're talking to, it's a pretty good girl. It's you don't find them every day. People, I know they just want to kind of focus on themselves, and I mean, it's hard. Not every girl's like that, and I'm not saying that, but there's a lot of women that just kind of, they're just kind of self-centered, I'll be honest, but it's not every woman, and I'm not saying every woman is like that, but there are, you will find that bunch, and you just have to kind of find one where you can do something that they love, and they can do something that you love, and just kind of combine and grow together, as he said.
And I don't want to keep you guys on for too long. I know we
keep going,
can't go
man.
forever, but
You're good.
that actually kind of reminded me when I said about just everyone nowadays being so arrogant and kind of lazy is like, I've heard so many people. One thing that really gets under my skin, I never say anything to them, but I always hear people when they're talking about the way it can kind of come into relationships. So I hear men and women all the time say, "I deserve someone who gives me the world, gives me all their time, all their money, all their attention, does all these things for me." And I always want to ask them, well, why? Like, what value are you bringing to them that's so good that they need to give you all their time, all their money, all their attention? They need to drop everything for you. Like, what are you bringing into their life that validates that?
Yeah.
I really want to ask them that and see what their response is. Because I've
Yeah.
heard so many people, they talk about dates or they talk about this person who asked them out, and they say, oh, never. They're not on my level. Well, okay, why? Like, is it just because you're attractive? Are you, like, intelligent? Do you come from, like, a very wealthy family? Have you gone through... Sometimes it could be validating. Maybe they are really intelligent and they've gone through things in life, and they believe that they will bring value in another person's life, but they never explain. I would just love to
Yeah.
hear from these people
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
value you're bringing.
What's your go-to date? Like, what do you do? Like, let's just say first date. What's your go-to? I want to hear this because I might have something coming up, and I want to see what you have to say.
So, I mean, right now, I mean, it's pretty cold out. I
Yeah.
think it's so traditional, but honestly, you have to bring them to, I think for a first date, you need to bring them to a really nice restaurant.
I'll mess with that.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
that.
I know that's, kind of basic. It might be boring, but the thing is, that's a really good test to see if that's someone you want to be involved with.
Take them to McDonald's.
Stop, bro. Stop.
Set the bar low,
Stop,
then
bro.
exceed it.
Can't do that. Well, so when I went, actually the first day I went on with this girl I'm seeing right now is we were gonna go to Olive Garden,
Okay.
and she didn't feel too well, so I still saw her, like we just kind of hung out and talked for a while, but the whole point was that I achieved the same. I still saw her and we talked for hours. The whole thing I always try to achieve on the first date is like I just want to talk to them. I want to have.
Exactly, bro. That's how I am.
You need to sit down and just be able to talk with them. And I feel like when there's food involved, it only makes it better because, I mean, everyone's
Yeah.
happy when you've got a nice big steak in front of you.
Yep.
But, because I get, the movies are an absolutely terrible first date idea. Terrible.
He talked about that one time.
Yeah,
Bro, there's no point of a movie. If you're getting to know someone,
you
why are you
talked
just
about
gonna
that
sit
with
there?
Ethan, right?
Oh, I'm sure we talked about it a lot of the pods. I don't think that's a good. I also don't. Like food. I get what you're saying. I totally agree. Like food is everything, but like there's some people that like will get like scared to eat in front of other people, and
that's not
that's
me.
when I'm like,
Not
oh,
me,
like,
bro.
oh no, I
Put
don't
some
care.
food in front of me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm eating.
I'll go all out.
Like
Yeah.
I don't care enough. Like I just think like I don't know. It's just so hard, especially around here, to find something to do. Like especially if like you've been going like a first date. Like obviously some people don't like going out to eat, so then you have to figure out something else to do. What else is there to do? There's literally nothing around this place,
Yeah,
especially when it's cold. Like what am I gonna
I
go
don't
do?
know, man. You gotta
sit in my
just find
car
it.
and be like, and just sit there and talk. Like
That's a perfectly good night to me, bro. I mean, all I do is talk, so
Just-
and you
I
can
don't
talk
know.
and connect to a woman on a different level. That's a good night to me.
And if it's a first date, you need to get to know them enough to understand if you even want a second date. So like
True.
let's say for instance that you go ice skating, mini golfing, or go to the movies. Like those three involve you giving a lot of attention to something else besides her.
Exactly.
So you're going to be doing something fun. Like I think those things are really good to do after a couple of dates and you actually want to spend more time with her.
Exactly. Yep.
But, after my first date with this girl, I think we went out to like 2 dinners, and honestly, it was perfect because we got to know each other really well. We talked enough to where we got to like open up. And I think that's just what you need on a first date. You need to
I
do
agree.
something that is going to get you two in conversation. If you go to the movies, like, what kind of first date is that? Like, you're not going to dinner for food. Like, if you're going on a date, you're not going to dinner for food. You're not going to the movies to watch a movie. Like, you're going to get to know the person that
yeah.
you want to spend time with or be with.
I get like going to like dinner and then going to the movies or vice versa. Like I get that, but like at the same time, it's like, what does a movie really do? Like I hate when people talk in a movie. Like I get
I
some
do
like
too. I like watching
small
my movie.
chat, but like if like you're on a first date and you're trying to talk the whole time, like come on, bro, like go somewhere else. Like
Yeah,
there's
movies
just-
kind of crazy. I like dinner. I mean, I'm part Italian, so any kind of Italian dish, I'm down to go there, and I know a couple spots down. I don't know if you know where like Exton and Downingtown is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my dad was born, and so I go down there a lot. I have a lot of family down there, so I know a couple spots, and I feel like that would be a good first one.
I
you know?
like it's bad, but I wouldn't mind like a mini golf or like a bowling, only because I'm competitive.
Bowling
so
ain't
like,
too bad because you could still talk to
Oh,
them.
you can talk through the
Yeah.
whole thing, but like I'm
Yeah.
competitive, so like I obviously want to have fun. Because like, if say the person's like really not what you were expecting, like you still want to be able to have fun. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
sitting at dinner, it's like a little difficult. Like you're eating, yeah, but like, if it's really awkward, I'm not gonna want to be there for very long.
Bro,
if I'm
it's
bowling,
but
like I
that's-
can just
see,
focus on
you
that.
just can't be awkward, bro. That's the one thing.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm a very outgoing dude, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to keep the conversation going as much as I can. But I mean, I get if she's nervous, but you definitely want to find someone that's just like cool to be herself around you,
Yeah.
and doesn't have to act like, a whole different person like one day, and then the next day you find who she actually is, and you're like, oh shoot, this isn't who you were 2 days ago. Why am I just figuring this out?
The other thing is like I feel like it now. I think what we're looking for might be a little different, but for me, that's not a shot at you. I'm just
He's just
saying.
being-
I
Hey,
know,
you're
no,
being
I know what
honest.
you're talking. I know
But-
what you're saying.
So,
Yeah.
like if I'm going on a first date, like I'm telling you right now, if I'm taking a girl to dinner, I'm going to be honest, I'm looking to build a relationship with you.
Mhm.
Like, if I'm taking you to dinner, that means that I want to spend a lot of time with you and I want us to be close. So, I'm not going to go to dinner and be so awkward and keep myself at bay to the point you don't know who I am. I'm going to show you 100% who I am on the first date, and
Yep.
if you don't like it, then why am I going on like a second or third date? Then we're not meant. We're
Are
not
you
meant to be.
are you 100% like you pay for the bill?
Oh yeah.
I am too. Yeah.
I think that's
People make fun of me for that, but that's just who I am. Like, I mean,
I think it's like I think 100%.
I make sure and they don't touch it.
But like I'm also like the type that won't go unless like I actually see something with you. I'm not gonna go with food like first date.
Dude, that's like the best.
I don't
like,
know. Like
I like that answer.
there's
from
different
him, 'cause
things. Like if
that's
I'm
how I
hanging
am.
out with someone, like there's just different things. I won't like I'll ask someone to go get food, but usually it just never happens, and we just end up hanging out somewhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that better.
Listen.
Because then you get to talk, and you're not worrying about like, oh, who's paying this. Like obviously I would want to pay, but like I think one of my biggest things is like when someone's like gets like mad if like you try to pay.
That
Well,
that
the
that
other
honestly
thing-
makes me mad. Does that make you mad?
I
So
don't like it.
I went. I think it was our third date. Me and this girl went out to dinner, and they bring the check out, and immediately I reach in my pocket because I think another reason why dinner's a really good first date is because let's say even if you don't have a lot of money, like
Yeah.
I'm not telling you to splurge on her. I'm not saying that.
No,
but
yeah.
What I am saying is I think one of the most they do want to at least see that you're a man. I feel like that's how a woman will respect you.
Yeah.
So I feel like something really baller you can do is whip out your wallet, put your card down, don't even look at the bill. I'm
Yep.
paying. And by doing that, they're like, oh,
Dang, that's a fire move.
by doing that,
I'm actually gonna do that.
Power play.
Dude, don't look at the bill. That's a
never,
fire move.
I never look at the bill
Yeah.
ever, and there have been some times I go home and I think maybe I should have looked at the bill, but
Yo, that's a crazy
You don't even
move.
like,
That's
like
a
you don't look at
I
it
don't
at
even
all.
open the checkbook. I slip my card in and I get.
Well,
put
like
it at the end of
usually,
the
like
table.
I'll like glance over just to make sure it's like the right.
no,
thing.
but
You could
dude,
be
that's
paying
a
for
tough move. That means you like, dude, that's a move.
It's
right
it's
there.
a good
That's
one
some-
until you pay for someone else's meal.
But
No, it's just
like, if
you
you're-
and her.
No,
Obviously.
but I'm saying if you accidentally like say the waiter mixes up like the bills, you're paying for some like table
That-
of like 8.
Well, then
That's the
they
only other thing.
refund you and-
that's happened, but that's actually happened to me. But they come back and,
And they
say
say something?
yeah, they say something.
Yeah.
But
they
see,
give you a refund for that probably.
Well,
there's
yeah,
a
they kinda
reason.
Have to.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that though. Like it. How if you want like a really good woman, you have to prove to her. If you want to be in a relationship with a really good woman, you have to prove to her that you're willing to protect her. You're willing to like provide for her. You're willing to like be a gentleman for her.
Yeah.
Like how's a woman ever gonna respect you or actually fall for you if you go out to dinner somewhere and the check comes and you're like, oh, we need to split it
Yeah.
because I can't pay for this $45 dinner or $50 dinner. It's
Yeah.
like I'm not even capable to buy you a plate of food. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You have to pay.
Women
Bro, but
respect you if
that's
they
why
give
that's a power
options.
move. One, that's a power move, but two, dinner is because what woman doesn't like free food and a night out? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, everyone's happier with a plate
Exactly.
of food.
Exactly.
Once you go on a couple more dates, that's when like movies and
Yep.
this is something I was going to go into. So like my ideal I've never done this, and I'm just kind of thinking as I speak, but my ideal like order of dates would be first thing would be dinner, and then everything we talked about. The second date would be like a game, like board game, mini golf, bowling, because it's like now you've talked to her enough, you like who she is. You need to see if she's will loosen up enough to like have fun with you.
Yeah,
You guys can
wow.
talk, be competitive. She's not gonna like hold it against you. You're not gonna hold it against her. And then if you get to that point, second date, you play a game, you have a lot of fun, and you're competitive, and you kind of have some fire in the relationship like that. The third date should probably then be like probably dinner, but it has to be something where eventually you two are like gonna be like going for a walk. You're like you'll be on your own. Like you'll be
A
alone.
hike.
A hike, yeah, big
I
time.
wouldn't mind that. That's a good first date too.
If
If it's
first,
warm
yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
It can always be tough when it gets cold because
Yeah.
I mean I love mini golfing, hiking, and just
Mm-hmm.
being outside. So
Mhm.
when it's like this,
Dude,
you can't-
Women
all
are
the
lucky
girls
to get a
watching
second
this
date.
are they're gonna have my game plan now, bro.
yeah,
They have my game plan. I'm getting my game. He's literally the coach. He's literally my offensive coordinator,
Huh.
and I'm
I'll
the
have the
player.
headset on.
Yeah,
I'll be
bro.
watching.
Yeah,
All right,
literally.
Tyler, slip your card in. Don't
Yeah.
even look at the bill.
Don't even look.
Don't look at the
even
bill.
look.
You
Yeah.
look at the bill. She's not coming back.
She's not coming back. Yo, that's actually mad funny. All right, any woman out there watching this, I'm telling you, I'm not doing that. We're
Yeah,
lips, boom.
Game plan's gone.
Game plan's gone.
Any girl that goes on a date with him, you're paying.
Yep, you're paying, bro. Nah, I'm just
Keep them
playing.
guessing, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a very giving guy, and I think I do have a lot to put out there, and I'm excited to get back into the game and start talking to people. I am. It's
I'm
been
excited
a
too.
while. It's been like a couple years, and I'm ready.
Yeah, you guys will get out
I've
there.
got some plan.
Well, you have a lot planned, bro. You
Yeah,
have
no,
more
I got
than
a
I
lot
have
planned, but like for me, it's like if you get a second date, like obviously you made a good impression. I don't really ever like take people on a second date.
I
I
do.
can't think of like
Wow.
another time where I've been like, okay, the first dates went good enough that like I'm gonna take them on a second date. But like
I've really
that's
only
just
been on
me.
like 2 or 3 dates in my whole life, and they've all gone good. I just,
Mhm.
I knew that I wasn't ready. Like,
Yeah, I get that.
yeah. But now I think I am. I think I'm getting up there. I think I'm starting to stabilize myself a little more. And hey, as long as she supports this pod and supports what I do, I really
Big
don't
time.
care.
she'll respect
how
you
I am.
if there's more than one option.
What?
Going back to what he said.
We were talking.
What,
about
you're
this.
saying that she's cheating on me now?
No. Listen,
Oh.
listen. Earlier he had said, "How else are you gonna get a girl to respect you?" Girls will respect you if they know they're not the only option.
Well,
Bro, that's
so
crazy.
so the psychology behind that, he does somewhat have a point. So
Yeah.
human nature is you really want something that you know is difficult to get.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can go about that two ways. I think the way he's going about it, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
It just seems the way you go about it is if you show a girl that, there's 3 or 4 other girls that are interested in you, she's going to feel more compelled to really make an effort to be with you because she's like, he has something that others want. That means he's in high demand. I really want him.
Yeah,
Now, and there's only one of you. So obviously you're in high demand.
unfortunately.
Multiple girls want you. So now if you tell, I'm not saying it probably is the case, but if you make her believe that's the case, now she's going to want you more. The way I go about it is because I'm a one woman man. And I mean, on the inside, I am more of a lover boy. Is like the way I show that I'm a high value, 1 in a million person is like I do things for her that I know other guys won't do. That's why, I pay the bill without looking. If she needs something, I always ask her, can I help? Is there anything I can do for you? I always ask about her day. I always be respectful. I don't jump on the physical side of things because
For
I mean
sure.
that she's gonna think, well, that's all he wants.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to build that.
I actually am like total. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm the total opposite of that. I'm actually a very caring guy. Like I'm not just all about like, yo, we got to get physical right away. Like I'm a very open guy, and I take my time with things. I learned if you like to rushing into anything, relationships, coming back from injury, anything you rush into, it never goes out well. So I've just
Exactly.
learned kind of take my time and just understand what they want and what they need, and when they understand what I need, and we kind of can blend, it'll be perfect. You just gotta.
And that's something that is how we would show that we're high value, 1 in a million men, is that we care about the person, not just what we see.
Yep.
There's a lot of men out there who just worry about what they see, and when they realize, they're not gonna get the physical side of things right away, they leave or they turn into a different person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I never want to be that. That's not who I am. And
Mhm.
I will say, I mean, it's gonna be really awkward if the girl I'm seeing, when's this pod? You think
Friday.
If she watches this on Friday, and I say like, oh, things have been going well between me and her, and then she ends up saying, oh, I'm leaving you. That's gonna be really awkward. But
Yeah.
I feel like I've been
Nah.
taking that approach with her, really been taking my time and trying to build that personal connection. I feel like it's been going well.
Mhm.
Y'all
So
should watch it together.
Yeah.
well,
She's gonna look at you every time you mention her. It's gonna hit her differently.
I hope it's not too awkward that I was talking about my ex, but I mean it was part of the pod.
No,
It's
that's
just-
I don't
not,
really.
bro. Everything that happens in life, like we said, happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And if she, I mean, I don't take her. I don't know her, and I don't take her as that girl at all. That's not what I'm saying. But if anybody gets mad at you for just who you've been and who your past, I mean, you shouldn't even be with them in the first place.
Exactly.
I think she'll be really cool about it. I don't think she will care at all.
I think
I
it's
haven't.
fine.
I have no interest in talking to my ex.
Exactly.
I haven't talked to her in almost a year.
You were making a point, and
great
you were
mindset.
you were teaching us what happens because we never been in one, and that's just how it is. I don't think she'll be mad at you at all.
Mhm.
I think
Oh, you're good.
I think she'll actually be really, if she does watch this, I think she'll be really excited that you brought that up.
I'll get you guys a few more subscribers.
Let's go, bro. I appreciate that.
This actually, and I was just thinking about this. I saw this on Instagram. Another big red flag. I haven't really had this problem with a girl I've been in a relationship with. If they still are close with their ex, leave.
Yeah, it's
get
bad.
out of there.
Yeah, it's
100%, bro.
bad.
You
That
cannot.
ain't good.
I will never. I'm gonna make this clear right now. I will never ever date a girl who texts their ex as much as they text me.
It's bad.
If you're
bro.
hanging out with your ex, not gonna happen. Not gonna be with you.
Yeah.
And then, if I was still spending time with my ex, I wouldn't expect a girl to want to be with me because I mean, let's be honest. If you're like, if I was still talking to my ex, I wouldn't just be talking to her because I wanted to be her friend.
You're emotionally
It's
attached.
it's because I still have feelings for her and
Yep.
I want to be with her. So it's like you can't be with someone who's still attached to their ex. Like can't happen.
Exact. I love it. Yep, that's a great
100%.
great way. But do you have like SoundCloud or anything? You post like your guitar riffs on or whatever you do.
So I haven't
songs?
posted any of it. I mean I have a bunch of stuff on my phone, but
Dude, you should start posting it, bro.
I don't want to post. So my plan actually, I've told a couple people this,
Yeah.
but my plan is this whole winter break I've been really practicing my singing, guitar, and I've been
good.
writing a lot. I mean, it depends how deep you guys want me to go into this. Like I can
Dude.
I can really go down a rabbit hole of
Go
like
ahead, bro.
what my
It's
plan.
it's your episode, man.
So once I started playing guitar, I knew that I wanted to write an album.
It's awesome.
So the way it all started was I would play this really old guitar that my grandmother got me when I was like 12 years old. And when I was out in Cincinnati for an internship, and I was staying in an apartment by myself, so I'd come home from work, lift, and then I'd write. I found myself kind of caught in this vicious cycle where I'd practice, and then when I got an idea for a song, I'd write like the first verse, I'd get a couple chords, maybe write a bridge, but then I wouldn't touch it again because I'd get inspiration for something else, and I'd be like, I gotta write a different song. And I looked at my phone one day, and I realized I had like 40 songs that weren't even half done.
Wow.
Yep.
And I said, okay, I really want to get this done, but if I don't set up some kind of structure, I'm never actually going to finish anything. So I have 14 songs, and you know what? I'm not going to play anything, but the song, I'll read off. One song I'm really excited about that is...
This should be your first single to drop right here.
So the song I have that's done is called God Has a Plan.
Dude, yeah.
And what I actually... So, I mean... The album, air quotes, an album, I actually got inspired from it by Hardy's album, The Mockingbird and the Crow.
It's awesome, dude. It's like
Essentially,
2 separate albums.
It'll be a country album. It's country
Yeah.
music, but I am writing 14 songs, and it's gonna be half and half. 7 is gonna be like more breakup stuff, kind of sad stuff.
Yeah, I
But
like
then
that.
the other 7 is gonna be like real happy, coming out of like a hard time, inspirational stuff. And God Has a Plan is going to be like the Mockingbird and the Crow song in his album. It's going to
Yeah.
be sad and then I'm going to build up the lyrics into saying God has a plan, like good things are coming.
Yeah, dude, I like it. That's lit. I love music, so
Mm-hmm.
you know, I have my fair. I mean, I write lyrics on my story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't rap or nothing, but I write like lyrics down and stuff. Whenever I'm thinking of them, I'll pick a picture and I'll just post them on my private story. I'll post whatever I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And no, I love music, so that's pretty sick. When you have a page up or whatever, just let Tutor know or me know, and we'll definitely post you. We'll get you out there, dude. I'm excited.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
I'm
guys.
actually excited to see what this is about. I love country music. I like all music really, and I like supporting other. You obviously supported us watching our episodes whenever they come out, and least I could do is throw your music up, and I actually probably will enjoy it because I love country music like that,
Mm-hmm.
man.
My
And seeing you grow would be cool too, just into an artist,
yeah, I
if
mean
that's what you want to do,
well, I mean it's kind of the same with baseball. I want to take it as far as I possibly can.
dude.
So I'm not
There's no limit, bro, with music.
yeah,
Like
I'm not
seriously.
sitting here saying that I'm fantastic in anything. I'm just saying that I want to get better every day, and like let's say in 7 years I'm going on tour and I'm like a big artist. It's like I yeah, that's the dream. But if it gets
Yeah.
to a point where no one's really connecting with my music, I'm like, okay, more of a hobby. But
Yeah.
this summer I have 3 songs done right now. By like July, I'm hoping to have all 14 done.
Yeah.
And I was going to post like a performance, sometimes the recording, and then just kind of talk about the music. That's my plan. Uh, Depending on how busy I am with
Mm-hmm.
this semester, I may not get all of them done by July.
You should
Mm-hmm.
definitely drop a single soon though.
You think so?
Yeah, dude, do it,
I
bro.
I don't
Like
know.
100%, bro. You listen. I'll tell you what. If it's in your heart and your gut, and it's telling you, I really want people to hear this, even because there's some times where I want people to hear something, and then I'm like, oh, it's not perfect. I can't let that out.
Yeah.
But trust me, I'm telling you, there's someone that probably resonates with your music, and
Mhm.
it might get 10 views the first time you do it, might get 10 plays, might get 20 plays. But that's the best part is that you just keep building and building. Like
Yeah.
the first pod we did, we didn't really expect much, and we kind of hyped it up for a couple years, and we thought people were out, and we ended up getting like 400 views on that podcast.
Yeah.
And so you just never know till you actually put something out, and that's why I encourage everybody, do your own thing, and don't be scared of what people think, man, because not everyone's gonna like your song, but I'm sure there's gonna be,
Oh yeah.
I'm sure so let's just say there's 100 people, 85 people don't like your song, but the 15 people that do will mean way more to you than the 85 that
definitely.
don't. So
Mhm.
yeah, you should. And
And-
it doesn't have to be soon. Like go ahead, perfect it, but
Yeah.
definitely like make a page and like be serious about it. That's all I can tell. That's the only advice I can give you from me is be serious about it because it seems pretty cool.
I think you guys understand this as well as I do. Like the reason you guys do the pod and the reason I write my music is like we're gonna get people all the time who say like it's stupid. Even
Definitely.
let's say hypothetically we all three make it huge. You're always gonna have people who just kind of say it's bad. They want to make
Everyone.
fun of you, and it's either because they're jealous, self pity, or maybe they just really dislike it. That's never bothered me before with baseball or with
Yeah.
anything. I'm doing the music simply because I feel like it's fun for me, but I also feel like I can write in a way that really resonates with other people.
Bro, it's all you can do, man. Yeah, we're here to support it 100%. But you have anything else to say? Anything else? We'll get this wrapped up,
I think I'm glad to be on the Out of the Park pod.
bro.
You guys
we're
are doing
thankful.
you guys are doing a really good job. I
Thank you,
think
man.
Thank you.
I
you've got a
appreciate it.
huge future in front of you, and I try to. I mean, I don't have a ton of followers on Instagram, but I try to hype you guys up as much as I can because I think you guys are doing it right, and I also think that you guys got a lot of good stuff coming. So, anyone out there, you tell your friends about Out of the Park Pod. You guys got to listen, and next couple of months, keep an eye out for some music coming on my Instagram page.
I appreciate
yeah.
that, man. Yeah, always. And as soon as that page goes up, it'll be on our Instagram. It'll be on my Instagram. It'll be on Tutor's Instagram. As soon as that page goes up. And what's your actual Instagram?
My Instagram
if
is
you wanna share.
Luke 3332, all lowercase.
All right, Luke 3332. Go follow him. If you're really into country music, you're really into faith and stuff. And I mean, he said he's gonna have 2 different sides. So if you're in that breakup stage, kind of like that Wallen era, go follow him, man. He might have some music for you. And huge shout out to him for being on the pod. And thanks for watching and stuff. We really do appreciate it. I appreciate every viewer. and it's a lot, but I love doing this, and just to see people that enjoy listening to me, because I'm not the most interesting person all the time, and we can be dumb sometimes, but that's just the beauty in it. Everyone's different, so
Yeah,
I always like
completely.
listening to different ones. So thank you. We really do appreciate that.
Appreciate
the
it,
kind
guys.
words. Yeah, man. All
Thank
right. Next episode will be January. Wait, why can't I think?
13th.
19th, 18th.
It's the 12th. Yeah,
You
something
said
like that.
like
Wait, the 12th.
The
It's the
12th is this
19th.
Friday.
It's the 19th.
Yeah, so January 19th, which is also, I think that's my buddy's birthday. I can't remember. But that Friday, we'll be dropping another episode. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode with Emily and Michael, go tune into that tomorrow. Or, if you're on a long drive, whatever, go tune into that right now. I just want to say thanks to Luke for being on, and or Lucas. What should I call you, Luke or Lucas?
Either one. You can
Either
say
one.
Luke.
All right. I just want to thank him for being on, and we really do appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Let's go.
That was by far the longest pod we've ever had. Dude, that's actually good, because remember how we were